Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2022 Wells Fargo Championship Picks, Bets, One and Done Preview. You out there, I'm talking to you. You want to play in the best tournament on DraftKings? Of course you do. Hit the description, play in the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League, 3,000 spots this week. We can fill it up by, let's say, Tuesday evening. I think we'll get the max for the PGA Championship, which would be $100,000 of guaranteed rake-free money in the prize pool. So who wouldn't want to unlock that? Achievement unlocked if we can do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League. So go play in that. 3 max entry, $15 to play. And of course, no rake. Smash a like to the episode. Give me your early lean down in the description. Rate and review the pod. Sub to Mayo Media Network. And as always, I had something. Completely forget what it was. Either way, the Custies will be coming out next Monday. They're already recorded. Even if maybe you can find the private link that's up there. I don't know. Maybe you can search around for it. Maybe you can discover that. But that will come out on Monday of next week. Obviously, I'm away as of Tuesday evening. So Tambo and I will be in studio doing the DraftKings picks for Wells Fargo tomorrow on Tuesday. And we got more stuff later on in the week. I'm trying to wrangle Cam for a Kentucky Derby preview, but he was just in Vegas for the NFL draft. And I mean, Geoff Fienberg, you're on the line. You know, Cam's going to need a few recovery days.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the Kentucky Derby, Cam, post-Vegas, it's going to be like wrangling one of those wild horses we see in those, like, you know, hyper-popular old-timey Western dramas.
I think that's pretty apt. I mean, maybe we need to get some tranquilizers out, and I mean, he'd probably end up being out.
He's tranquilized good, I promise you. He's deeply tranquilized. Yeah. And it could be ruthless. Like Cam, man of the party, people probably like so excited to see him, just buying him drinks. He's just, I mean, I've heard stories about Cam trying to fly home from Vegas and the struggles that is, and him being just dead asleep on the floor, like by gates at airports. A real sloppy scene. The thing is, I think the grid, you know, they're doing well enough. They probably got him home direct.
Yes, hopefully so. I mean, I saw Morency got delayed on the tarmac. To kind of speak to your point, Morency was tweeting out that, you know, Morency is, honest to God, this is why Morency has survived in the broadcasting industry for like 25, 30 years at this point. Whenever fans interact with Gabe and with Cam, like they go out of their way to make it like the best experience possible. Sort of like the opposite if you meet me and I'm just like, hey, what's going on? Cam and Morency like blow it out with those. So yeah, I assume he's in rough shape.
Yeah, I have definitely seen that. And yeah, I mean, not to turn this into like a Morency glad-handing hour, but I actually corresponded with Gabe recently and I literally told him like how proud I was of him. And like how he just keeps growing. I've known Gabe for so long, like maybe even at like some of his lower points, and to see like where he keeps sort of getting himself to, and he loves just the 24/7 like grind. Like, I don't know. I'm proud of both those guys for still being alive too, I guess.
I suppose that's true. That's not a joke. I know what you're saying. It's not a joke, but yes, I love those guys. They were the best to work with. So anyway, let's talk about Mexico. John Rahm wins. We should have played the Spanish. I was kicking myself for not playing the Spanish double, but then I was like, oh man, Artis finally won. But I was like, oh yeah, it's Otagi who I always bet, so this doesn't mean anything to me. I wasn't going to be betting him anyway.
I cannot tell you. I don't want to be mad about any of the golf. Despite golf really kicked me in the nuts this week. Not that it wasn't expected, but you know, I've been in a cold streak, and on the PGA to have Finau and Riley and Champ. I mean, nothing ever felt real though. Like even when Rahm wasn't doing anything, it still never felt real. The whole week from go. And the amount of money I have probably bet on Artie Arnis chasing that win, Pat. I could have been there. I mean, he was 4 over on Friday. You probably could have bet him live at $1 trillion. You probably could have bet him live at like $1 trillion on Sunday morning. But for me, like I didn't do anything with the outright Euro golf. Between the draft and just being cold with golf to begin with, I just really tempered it down this week. Didn't pay attention. So obviously Arnis spikes and wins. And yeah, I think he could. Maybe this is just the morning after him being awesome, but I could see him on the Ryder Cup team. I'm that bullish on where he's going. I really, really am. That's quite praise, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of old guard that's got to just get out of there. And I think he's part of the new, clearly him and like the Højgaards are part of the new stuff. And you said it, beware, Rahm could win with like a B- C+ game. Although that's what it looked like on TV, he was still like number 1 or 2 in the field and driving, and he still putted top 20. So what can you say?
That was the one break against all of our guys running. I mean, I had, for the second consecutive week, this week I had 2 guys who finished in second place with Kitayama and Finau. Obviously in the team event the week before, Burns and Horschel couldn't close the door, but I was just praying for a Jon Rahm bad putting final round. That was going to be it, because I don't understand how Kitayama ended up staying up there and like providing good rounds. He was everywhere off the tee, especially, and like his back nine on Saturday and Sunday absolutely blew it for him. He couldn't figure out how to birdie any of the par 5s, really. There's 3 of them on the back. 18 he was able to get a grasp on, but the other 2 were just mind-blowing. Then he ended up bogeying the one after he sprayed it out to the left. It hit a fan to slow it down instead of going into the water, and then it hit the curb, and I was like, all right, we can do this. And then even his chip, it was like, all right, he's just slightly on the fringe. It'll be fine. Then he 3-putted, and that was sort of the end of his day. I thought that Finau for a moment was going to get there because he needed one more somewhere along the way. Now, you could probably say that if he had just made one of the 8 4-footers that he missed the first 2 days, he runs away with this tournament, because no one was better tee to green than Tony Finau. But classic Finau stuff. After he's out of it, makes his giant run, and it's just not quite enough.
But it's listen, as a Finau like fanatic fanboy, wouldn't have taken much for me to be there for the next one, Pat. But we're close enough. His best ball striking performance maybe ever. 50-1 at the PGA Championship. Is that worth anything? Same number is going to be there.
I would, he's the second favorite this week on some places. Other places he's not, obviously. So if he can put together a nice week this week, like a top 5 performance, something like that, then all of a sudden, yeah, I mean, he could most definitely get beat down. I would think that there's probably going to be a surge of wagers coming in on him right now because of the T2 performance, but like he should come T2 in this field. Like Rahm, like you said, he had a B- effort and he still won.
And it was there. I mean, Finau and Wu, they had to make the ride, but if anyone in those final pairings shot the low 60s that was there yesterday, they win. Rahm didn't do anything, but no one. It was almost like if Finau won, it almost would have felt in a way like Jordan Spieth's win a few weeks ago. Putted horribly, probably should have won by 3 or 4. No one did anything, and somehow he wins the tournament in some respects, but he didn't. He comes in second, and it is what it is. Just even through Rahm's troubles, it never felt like it was going to really be an issue because no one was taking it.
That was the thing. Kitayama had the chance on the front 9. He birdied number 1. He caught up early, and then he just couldn't pull away because you knew that it was going to come, not necessarily crumbling down for him at any point, but he wasn't going to be able to sustain it. We saw that on Saturday, too. He just absolutely blitzed the front 9, and then he stalled out on the back shooting even par. It was kind of the same situation on Sunday as well, and then Champ took himself completely out of it a little bit earlier on. Like Davis Riley had his chances. Alex Smalley had his chances. It was there for Patrick Rogers, who, man, he cost me a lot of money on Sunday. It was terrifying stuff because I got my hopes up and then I got my hopes dashed and then my hopes came back again because I was riding this Martin Trainer top 10. I mean, I had the top 5 as well, but that was out of the question after he made the 2 doubles on Saturday. But he finally got it to, I think he had an 11-foot putt on 18, trying to get it up and down for birdie. And I even put it out that this is basically the top 10 putt. If he makes this, this gives him a chance to come inside the top 10. If not, we're probably going to be left on the outside looking in. And what happens? I'm following Patrick Rogers, and he's tied for 10 with Martin Trainer. I'm like, okay, here we go. I just need him to screw up somewhere because I know he's going to birdie 18. And he ends up in the bunker on 16, barely gets it out, puts it to 14 feet, makes the par putt from 14 feet. It's like, that's the bogey I needed for him to rebound with the birdie and everything will be fine. So he makes that putt. Then he sticks it to, I think, 5 feet on 17 on the par 3, misses the putt. So that feels like a break even at that point. Then he had 7 feet on 18, getting it up and down, and ends up making it. Trainer comes T11, and my 75 to 1 top 10 ticket is out the window. Would have been a really nice week had that have hit. It would have been better than basically an outright, along with the Kitayama top 8 that I ended up cashing on the each way. But that's the devastating part. That's the part when I'm talking to Will Haskett next week. That show is already recorded. That'll come out on the feed, brand new, about designing a gambling channel. Now, I know that's very selective to me, but it's storylines like that we can kind of go through that can foster a channel like that I don't think that the network executives are necessarily seeing right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I wasn't cheering for Patrick Rogers because I made a Riley versus Rogers head-to-head for Sunday. So I was kind of relieved he missed that putt on 17. But if I knew how much you had riding on it, maybe my opinion would have changed. Mexico,
I like the course.
I don't know.
I like the course a lot.
Yeah, course seemed fun. The wind came up. It seems like they're building an amusement park and all sorts of other things. And when we spoke last week, I guess I wasn't sure that it was Puerto Vallarta. That's a beautiful resort town. I don't know, like the DFS golf community. We went to Florida for the Honda. May as well just transfer that to Mexico, which they're turning this area into.
That I can get behind. I think that's a great idea.
Like, I'm just saying, it's not like we're trading an elite field to go to a bad field. The other destination was the Honda Classic.
And I didn't even go to the tournament, so it doesn't really matter to me.
You probably wouldn't even have to go to this tournament. But anyhow, just spitballing, although it was pretty funny watching the Thursday, Friday coverage, Pat. Like, the place was barren. I swear to you, I've seen more maintenance staff on my golf course than there were spectators watching those early round coverages.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. Yeah, the guys working on the new cart paths at my club probably outnumber the people that were watching on Friday. Although on Sunday it seemed like there was not a ton of people there, but there were people along at least the fairways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we touched on it briefly, but the European Tour with these Sundays, 2 straight weeks, these insane Sunday wagons out of Spain to win these tournaments. It is crazy what goes on there.
I didn't see the playoff this week. I just kind of read about it after the fact as it was happening on Twitter.
The worst.
Why were people so upset with this playoff? Was it the same hole?
It was the worst. It was the worst hole ever, Pat. You couldn't get it close to the pin. The only play was like a 27-foot putt. In the 5 times they played the hole, there was only one thing where there was no good look for birdie. There was no oh my God, someone missed a birdie putt. Arnis made one just off the green chip to 3 feet. That was the only trouble in 5 holes. It was embarrassingly boring. It was a really strange. The pin location just made it strange. It's like they both were playing for the other guy to make bogey. Even being in the exact same spot off the tee multiple times, they couldn't get the second shot. They couldn't get it to 10 feet, 12 feet. Nobody could get it on that upper tier. So it just created this very anti-dramatic boring. Yeah, I guess. I think that was the consensus, and I actually watched it, so I agree.
Pour one out for poor Ryan Baroff. He had a John Rahm Laurie Cantor double, which was looking pretty good for a while.
2 doubles.
Yeah,
guy made 2 doubles on the back. Can't get there, that guy.
Well, I'm excited to see where Mexico comes in. I went over this on the research show yesterday very briefly at the beginning, and even from the time that I did that to the end of the day, that if you had just essentially sorted by driving distance, you would have ended up with the winner, second place, 4th place, 5th place, 6th place, 10th place, 9th place. It's the only thing that matters there. That and putting.
We're back to this just new thing on tour, Pat. The good players win. Rahm finished first. Finau finished second. Katayama was second, but the thing about Katayama that I'd qualify kind of like Riley to those, if you've been watching long and like, he's like a ceiling guy. Like the number was 100, 110, 120. But if it was going to be someone of the not really good players, it was going to be a younger player with a ceiling that I believe like one day will potentially be in WGCs. Like I think Davis Riley's now a WGC guy. Maybe that's why he withdrew this morning, Patrick.
Well, they don't really have WGCs anymore. It's just the match play.
Oh. Well, then, I don't know. Then, yeah, take that back. Maybe with Drew, because making a lot of money, is going to take a week off.
Well, I think a lot of people are playing the Bunny Ranch next week because it's super close to Southern Hills. So you just go from Texas to Oklahoma rather than potentially going from Mexico to, where's this, Maryland to Texas to Oklahoma to get ready for the major championship. Oh, I spoke with Stephen Ames's caddy. We already have that recorded. He did the yardage books for Southern Hills. Good condo.
Winner.
It's coming out next Friday, next Saturday. It'll be the kickoff show to the PGA Championship week.
Can't wait.
Apparently it's a big redesign there.
Yeah, and that's one major talking point for me is Scotty Scheffler has called it his favorite course on earth, but has not played it since the redesign. And there are these people, they all have these 40-1 Scheffler futures, which are great. I wish I had one.
Yeah, if I put it this way, if I saw a 40-1 Scheffler out there right now, I would just take all my money and bet on it.
Yeah, no, they're not there anymore. And I think as we discussed going into the year, the people who tried to predict the Scheffler breakout spot were not looking at Augusta. It wasn't the breakout. It was actually the fourth freaking win. But the major win for Scheffler probably would have been Southern Hills. But it's interesting. A lot of he's never played it on the redesign. So I kind of made an in-jest comment like, well, could that be like going to your favorite restaurant that just changed the menu? Like you loved it as it was. I don't know how in-depth the redesign is. I guess we'll hear about it. All of those Big 12 golfers who adore the golf course. Hopefully, I guess for them, the redesign is pretty minimal for people who have experienced it and enjoy it there.
So what you're saying is that Ricky Fowler is going to win the PGA Championship?
No, I'm not saying that. Before we get into the next one, I have a buddy who just likes betting golf, doesn't know anything about it. Asked me a question last night. I didn't really have.
Hold on. I bet you he wins more than we do.
No, he likes the best players.
So I bet you he's doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have bet Scotty. I don't know. He likes whatever. He just tails me, to be honest. So he's not really cold. Maybe he's the type that would have bet on like Rahm when he got to plus 100 though, too. So he's fine. Anyhow, he's like, why won't more good players play really bad events like the money, the FedEx Cup point, the chance to win, which creates momentum? And I mean, even Phil, like by winning on the Champions Tour last year, then winning the PGA Championship, kind of proved like just winning anywhere might just be good enough momentum, let alone a PGA Tour event. And all I could say is I don't think any of the players you're thinking about, give a shit about FedEx Cup points, because all you have to do is play well in the Northern Trust and like it's like 6 times multiplier.
Yeah.
The money is fair, but I don't know that they care so much when, again, speaking of the players he's referencing, like the ultra high ends, they could probably make $220K doing a corporate event on a Tuesday. So why go try to make $1 million playing a golf tournament, having to commit a week? I didn't really have an answer, but you're like, yeah, why shouldn't more players go play? Obviously scheduling spots can be awkward, and the ones that are going for straight glory are just trying to schedule with majors. But I didn't have a good answer to that question, or maybe I did. I don't know.
I suppose, especially when you're talking about your highest end players, I would assume that their entourages in terms of trainers, nutritionists, coaches, that kind of thing is a whole lot higher than it would be for guys on the middle tier, on the bottom tier, or guys even from the Korn Ferry Tour coming up to play. So it can work one of two ways. That's a big expense if you have to make all those guys, put them up in Mexico. I was reading a thing the other day. I don't know if it was like an exact breakdown, but it was, if a guy wins, like it was Jordan Spieth winning the Heritage, where does that money go? How much of that does he actually get after taxes, after paying the state taxes, paying federal taxes, paying his coach, paying his caddy, like all that stuff? That you're probably right. If you can just show up on a Tuesday, work for 3 hours, collect a $250,000, that's probably better. The travel is somewhat taxing. And I think that you always kind of point this out about what Adam Scott said, that, hey, there's only really like 10 tournaments that I care about. The other ones are just kind of like, I'm just going to try to peak for these. And yeah, getting a win is great. What is the narrative surrounding Jon Rahm today if he comes fifth yesterday? He shoots even par and he finishes behind those three guys that tied at -16.
The narrative around Jon Rahm, if Kurt Kitayama shoots a 60, what? Give me two more strokes on what is.
Yeah, well, he shoots a 65.
Is Jon Rahm is a loser who's still not right, but he won, right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, the upside, I mean, Rahm said he's coming back to this thing next year, but apparently he really likes this course. He likes the venue. And I do think that as a Spanish-speaking player, that he's a good ambassador for something like this, especially with Answer right now. I mean, obviously being Mexico's own Abraham Answer, that he's just not right at the moment. Ortiz isn't that kind of player. Ortiz's brother made a nice little run. They were showing him. Alvaro Ortiz was all over the coverage for a bit before he ended up gagging it away at the end of either Friday or Saturday, whatever that was. But it's a good spot for Rahm. He still goes and plays in these dinky events in Spain a lot of the time during the swing season as well. So he seems committed to that. So I think that a lot of these guys have different priorities about what they want. Do they just want to win? They want to win major championships. Do they want to be seen more as a worldwide star? Do they want to build the brand that way? Do they want to be an ambassador? I think it's different things for different people. And it's not like, I mean, to quote basketball, I mean, where do you think Shaq made all of his money, Jeff?
No, oh my God. Shaq that is just what he is. There's no words to describe what he has become. But you're absolutely right in being an international player. And I think a big part of Rahm, I mean, once he shows up, he's there to win. You might have wanted to fade Rahm this last week because the price from a bet outright, that's totally fair. But the most lazy talking points were that, he's there for a vacation or something. No, like once he's there, he's pretty much there to win. Yeah. But I do not doubt that there is a grow the brand element for a player, an international player like Jon Rahm, Pat. And while a large majority of the audience of yours is American, as guys from a place, like how much these international opens like mean it within those countries alone are enormous. They're enormous. And there's a huge door for Jon Rahm. And next thing you know, baby, we're going to have the Jon Rahm teaming up with Canelo to take on Brady and a quarterback. Let's go.
Take on Jake Paul and someone else. It'll be perfect. We'll get that sort of sphere into the golf world, and everything will be right. There's also the part of it too that a lot of these top end players know that this is going to be a weaker field. I don't know if they actually care about this or not, but this is an opportunity for Kurt Kitayama and guys coming up from the Korn Ferry Tour to potentially earn their FedEx Cup points, to earn their status and not take money away from them. It's like why you don't see a lot of big names, like why Ricky Fowler doesn't play the Puerto Rico Open, even if he's not qualified for the other event.
Yeah, and maybe I'm silly, but I truly don't believe your Rahms, your Rorys, JTs, and Morikawa was so young, you could just go play anywhere for a good time. But I truly just don't believe those top 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players in the world, Pat, make their schedule and say, oh, I'm going there. That's an easy win. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
I would tend to agree with you. If the place is easy, I don't think, that's going to be a free roll for me. Like, he doesn't know who else is committing to that. You have no idea who a sponsor agreement could force into a tournament, but I don't know. So I don't think anyone builds their schedule. And when it does happen, like I'm sure Rahm saw the field 10 days ago and was like, giddy up. But I don't think the pre-process is I'm going there to bully a field. No, I do think that there was something about it too that, Rahm hasn't won since last year's U.S. Open. Getting a win, even something else, is going to help your confidence. But I mean, he could have played the Heritage too if he wanted that. I think it's more localized to Spanish-speaking player, obviously not from Mexico, from Spain, but still, speaking the same language. It's good for him to go to the Mexico Open and try to grow the tournament that way. It's very similar to very regional places within the United States where, listen, if Webb Simpson goes and plays the Mexico Open, no one really gives a shit. But when he plays RSM and he plays Heritage in like the southeastern part of the United States, like that's his kind of area. Like how Corey Connors, Mackenzie
Bunny Ranch, most years.
Yeah, he's always going to play Colonial. He tends to always play the Dallas event. I mean, that's where
Valero.
he's from. That's his part of the country where it would be like if Corey Connors skipped the Canadian Open. It'd be like, what the hell is going on here? Like, well, why aren't you playing in the Canadian Open? That's how people feel about guys where they're from a lot of the time with events, and just where you have 30 events within the United States, that there's going to be more of them that pop up, but you're going to be very centralized and regionalized in that way too.
Yeah, that's very, very well said. And clearly, as you proved, there was great opportunities in the placing markets that paid out bigger than the John Rahm win. And props to you.
Hey, well,
I was too bullish. I always chase a win. I didn't even think of it, but I had so many guys. I had 4 picks, 3 of them last week outrights, which shows how little I went into this thing. And 3 of them were Finau, Riley, and Champ. So I feel like I'm seeing it right. Ready for Wells Fargo. Jonesing for odds that haven't really been available to me this morning, Patrick.
Well, let's talk about the Wells Fargo Championship, not at Quail Hollow. It's going to be at TPC Potomac at Jim the Anvil Neidhart Farms. I think that's what it is anyway. Either way, Rory is technically the defending champion and 3-time winner of this event. All 3 times were at Quail Hollow. TPC Potomac last hosted a PGA Tour event in 2018. It was the 2017 and 2018 Quicken Loans, which was won by Francesco Molinari in his huge run-up to winning the Open Championship. He won it 21 under, 8 strokes better than, I think it was Charles Howell who came in. No, it wasn't Charles Howell, someone else. But either way, he won by 8 strokes. The year before, Stanley and Charles Howell went to a playoff. Stanley won. That was at -7. On paper, this course can play super difficult. So anything you look at for course history this week, don't just blindly look at Wells Fargo because you're going to get Quail Hollow stats.
That's a good point. And I remember that Molinari just gas canning this place. And it was weird because there was some big crossover event in Europe that week. And he's like, no, I want to become an American player. I need FedEx Cup points. I'm going to play here. And that was just the summer of Molinari getting going, revving up.
Tiger played that week too. I think Tiger was 4th in that field. It was like, oh, okay. Because that was back when we were like, yeah. And I do think that this course would actually be pretty good for Tiger. I saw him, obviously everyone saw him practicing at Southern Hills. But if he ever does decide to play anything outside of majors, he'll probably always play Jack's event if he's healthy enough, but that course is not going to be very good for him moving forward with its supreme distance. He needs shorter courses like this one. There's a par 70, 100 and like 80 yards or something like that. There's one really daunting par 5, so it plays a little bit shorter. Places where you can either club down, rely on accuracy, and you let your irons take over. As long as you don't go out of bounds, it's an iron and putting course is what this turns into. And I think that we always talked about Sedgefield. Heritage, I think, would be another really good one for Tiger in his current state of where he could go contend and possibly compete to win rather than go to, even last week, like I'm sure Tiger would have been fine in Mexico if he was like healthy enough to play. But once you start getting to these really long courses, it's going to be a bit trying for Tiger, I think, at times.
I have no doubts about that. You'd say maybe his only chances on some of those really longer courses could be like bad weather weeks where he's just so mentally tough, but bad weather is almost the worst for him, right? Like it shrivels up his body in ways that are worse than it used to. So it does feel like these are the path for Tiger, which is why, PGA Championships, US Opens, I think are like complete non-starters. The right open venues and the Masters on a magic moment, I guess. But yeah, here we are.
Southern Hills might actually be a part of that as well, as it was described to me about how it's currently playing. Super small greens, a lot of runoff areas that if you're not dialed in with your irons, like, you're going to be absolutely screwed, or you better have the world's best short game. So,
Pat,
I listen, I'm not betting Tiger at the PGA Championship. I don't even know if he's playing in the PGA Championship.
you can bet him the same 50-1 as Tony Finau.
I think I'd
And I'm
probably
going to bet the loser Finau.
I mean, I'd probably bet Finau over the guy that can, like, not walk 4 rounds at this point.
Well, if chipping doesn't matter at the moment, and if you're just hot sauce with your irons,
You're gonna miss greens. No one's hitting 100% of the greens at the PGA Championship.
I'm real excited for that one. But until then, let's give her Wells.
So before we jump into the odds, I'm still looking for odds for us to bet. They are not out yet. DraftKings Sportsbook has released their odds, which is great. But what is going on with what's holding up these odds? There was a rash of WDs earlier on, but as you pointed out to me, it wasn't Rory who withdrew, so who cares?
Yeah, I don't really know who they would be fearful of withdrawing. Rory is as committed to this event as anybody, and it's his tune-up, I believe, for the major. He's not going anywhere. So who could withdraw that would actually scare them? Like Corey Connors? I hope not, but if he did, that's really going to change the win equity of other players in the field. And I use Connors because that's a guy in the low 20s who, we're excited about, but I'm real confused. The only thing I can think of, Pat, is they're so busy because the book that, we love or like to rely on, they're sort of British based, and it's the British Masters, and it's a Champions Tour major.
It is. Actually, it is the Betfred British Masters. So I don't know why the site that we use is concerned about this.
Yeah, I have no idea. But every time I would look for our Wells Fargo odds to be up, there'd be some new alternative prop odd up for the British Masters.
It's a decent field at the British Masters. I was looking at Willett. Did you see anyone up there that you liked?
Willett's showing decent form, and he's short though. That number's short.
He's 35-1, I think.
Yeah, that number feels short. But
I gotta keep betting this guy.
The official host of this event.
Is
for
he?
A few years now.
I thought Westwood was. That
was a few years ago. Willett's kind of just taken over. I swear. It's at least multiple years in a row, or maybe because of COVID, he's doing it again. I'm not really sure. But if it's at the same course it's been at, he always plays well there.
Yeah, I'll tune into the DP World Tour Picks and Bet Show with Skylar Hoke and Tom Jacobs later on Monday evening to get their full spin on it. I bet you that Sky is going to bet Henny Dupuis because I think he bets him every week now.
I was trying to make a Henny Dupuis joke, but I didn't know how to fit it in. That guy's a brick shithouse. He's a wagon.
You know who I do like? Hao Tong. Hao Tong's playing better golf all of a sudden. Anyway, that's
in the PGA.
He's in the.
Is he
British
in the PGA?
The PGA Championship? I don't think so. I mean, there's a chance that he until recently, he's still on the range at Harding Park at nighttime, just working on his swing by being the 36-hole co-leader and getting cursed. Anyway, let's talk about this. Favorites. Rory is the favorite at the Wells Fargo Championship. Doesn't feel like a great Rory course, but if Rory shows up and plays like peak Rory, he's going to shoot 35 under at this course. Because if he hits it straight and bombs it, this is just going to turn into a chipping fest for him for birdie, though. Not getting it up and down for par, getting it up and down for birdie. That's going to be a bit more problematic, though, because you're a bit to the left. You're out of bounds at this course. Accuracy reigns supreme here. Conservative play off the tee. Utilize your iron. So you got Rory. He's 7.5-1. Connors at DraftKings Sportsbook is 16-1. Don't love that. Henley is the third favorite at 20-1, tied with Fitz and Leishman and Hatton. They're all 20. Finau's 25. Seamus is 25. Keegan Bradley is 28. Cameron Young is 28. And Max Homa is also 28-1. Those are the favorites for this tournament. I'm betting Connors. You say you've seen him as low as 22-1. That's good enough for me. Yeah. 20-1's good enough for me. I really do think he's going to win this week. If there's ever a course that suits him and his overall skill set, this is that course. Anywhere where Kyle Stanley can win with his game, Connor's game is just the better version of Kyle Stanley's game.
I mean, I love Connors. I'm not as bullish on you to like call the win like you are, especially at the DraftKings number, but you got to hope that'll come up. Shop it around. It does seem like the absolute perfect Corey Connors course. I've thought I was going to lose a ton of money on Corey Connors this year. It's a lot more money if we got to do it at 22-1, but it's a pretty motley crew as you kind of just went through once you sort of pass Rory as who makes up the second tier of this field. And yeah, in terms of that entire 20 to 35 range, my first pick would be Connors as well, I believe.
I think this is most definitely a week where you do want to shop around some of these numbers. We've seen this in a lot of the weaker field events over the past, basically since the Masters, that every book is probably going to have a 10 to 15 point difference on almost everyone. Like, for example, Troy Merritt is 35-1 at DraftKings Sportsbook. You could probably bet him at like 70 somewhere else. I'm getting probably not that deep, but like 50 for sure. So,
you would certainly think so. There's some interesting numbers out here early, but you know, Cameron Young, 28-1. That's a hard one to swallow. I certainly would need to shop that, but the way his game is profiling, I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as it feels, but that's a hard one to double click, Patrick.
That it is.
The second time I've called you Patrick, not going to do it again.
That's fine. You can call me Patrick. That is my name. It's not like Cuss where you're calling me something and saying, that's not my name. No, this is my name. But
are we worried with Connors that it's the start of the NHL playoffs and he'll be up watching like a triple overtime game or something?
I don't know. I know Dillette was always big into like hockey playoffs. I think he's even growing a playoff beard right now for the playoffs again. Corey Connors never struck me as that guy.
Yeah, you could be right. You know what, Pat? On that note, many years ago, long time ago, I used to work for TSN, did a lot of covering of the Leafs, have to be at pregame skate, be at the game, got me all credentialed. And then tonight being the first playoff game, I figured, you know what? I'm going to hit up the Leafs and see if they'll hook me some credentials for the game. They didn't. I got no credentials because I used to work somewhere. Strange. I don't know. Like, I thought they would. Worth a try.
Was worth a try. I'll give you that. Let's talk about the top of the board once again. Connors is 5th off the tee over the past 24 rounds in terms of strokes gained. This is what I went through on the research show of what you actually want to look at.
Sorry.
Thank you. Strokes gained out. You want to hit fairways gained. I'm looking at fantasynational.com right now, and there's a big difference between guys that hit a lot of fairways and guys that gain strokes off the tee. For example, Chez Reavie, although he did have a nice little run in Mexico, maybe that's unlocking something in the Chesticle. He's number 1 in fairways gained. He is currently 119th in strokes gained off the tee. That's not a good match at all. Austin Cook is another one, 3rd in fairways, 102nd off the tee. Brian Stewart, 7th in fairways, 132nd off the tee. Molinari beat Ryan Armour. That's who he beat. Ryan Armour, for example, 5th in fairways gained, 17th in strokes gained off the tee. So he is someone that gains strokes off the tee through hitting his fairways. He's not leaving himself in horrible positions just because he hits it in the fairway, but he just hits it so short that it doesn't matter. So that's what you really want to look at. So when you have Connors, 5th in strokes gained off the tee, 22nd in fairways gained. Brian Harman, 10th off the tee, 11th in fairways gained. Hayden Buck, who likes to fuckly, 9th in strokes gained off the tee, 16th in fairways gained. That is the type of player I believe that you want to target this week.
So what about a Seamus Power? Numbers short as well, but sort of talking about the better players in the field. Those are the ones I like to make my decision on. Would he not fit perfectly under this criteria?
He's sort of the lesser version of that, but he rates out really well for me. He's 36th off the tee, 46th in fairways gained. He's 4th from the key par 4 range. Don't forget this course is really hard and has some really daunting par 4s that can eat you up especially because you have to lay back off the tee. He's 4th in that category. So yeah, I can see Seamus Power playing really well here. But the numbers, what is it, 28-1?
Yeah, 25. Again, like I see Hatton at 20-1, Pat. And I'm like, I think there's a chance because I have no idea. Essentially flying blind at what's available to me and these numbers. But I'm not shocked if I get a 30-1 once everything sort of shows up.
I could most definitely see that. You can take advantage of odds boost and site shopping and everything like that. But I'm in on Connors this week. I am most definitely betting him. I wish Answer wasn't like, at the moment, because Answer would also fit this course perfectly based on the criteria that we're looking at and the fact that this is the first of 5 straight weeks on bent grass, by the way. I know that doesn't seem like much, but we had Augusta National on bent grass, and I think that was it so far this year. Maybe Valero, but I even think that was Bermuda.
Does Finau like bent grass?
He doesn't like any grass. It's grass, smoking the grass, banned in Utah. Finau hates it.
I swear. He gained those 14 strokes with approach last week.
Is that what it was? Was it end up being 14?
Yeah, I believe it was beyond. It might have been the best of his entire career.
Good for him. Are you going to bet Finau this week?
I mean, Finau's 20 on DraftKings. Finau's 25 and Connors is 16.
Yeah. You read the numbers to me. Can you answer my question?
Am I going to bet Finau this week? I don't know. I like betting on good players. So I'll probably bet
Do you like betting on good players?
I like betting on overrated players that I have attachments to.
How about this?
How
about this? I'll just give this to you right now. You can use this all week as your justification. Over the past 24 rounds, Ricky Fowler is second in this field behind Satoshi Kodaira in proximity range from 175 to 200 yards, where the plurality of approach shots are going to come this week. Plus, pretty good course history in 2017 and 2018. Just never mind the fact that that's when he used to be a good player. Unlike now, but you can use that. You don't have to put that part in when you prop up Ricky Fowler this week.
It's 130-1, which is 50 points better than the only other market, which I also can't access has. So that's a good thing.
That is a very solid thing. I would agree with you on that.
So DraftKings is strong on the Fowler market. I believe in the early going. Yeah, there are a lot of ties, but again, you sort of hit it on the end. Those stats don't really mean anything. Those stats are from a time he was just a different player, from the time he was finishing T5 in a major calendar. It's just not that. So can you get good form? Can you take that 130 and get an attractive placing and be excited to see Ricky play in the weekend showing form? Yeah, but an outright win? I'm more likely to bet Lahiri at 100, Pat.
Did they? Lahiri, really?
Well, he just seems like the most, I don't know about the outright win, but as I kind of did with some of my prop stuff last week, I didn't feel like there was a safer player on tour to prop than Anirban Lahiri. Since the second at the Players, what was it, 13 the week after, he had another top 20. He's just in such a happy place right now. He's playing incredibly clean golf. The win would be a huge ask, but I don't know if you had to bet Lahiri or Fowler.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I probably would bet Lahiri.
I'm not betting either.
Okay.
I don't think. Fowler's always possible, but
you're going to bet
really
Finau and Fowler. You know that, right?
No, there have been opportunities to do that this year, and I haven't.
Really? You haven't publicly said that.
Not both. I didn't say
not,
I haven't.
Has there been a tournament you haven't secretly bet on Fowler, or not bet on Fowler or Finau at?
Finau, I'm out there. Fowler, I haven't been betting. I bet him a few weeks ago, and I opened up to that. I haven't been betting him. I make a top 4, make a top 20. You got to we got to make progress. Bo Hostler.
You do
At least
bet,
there's progress.
but Bo Hosser has a top 10 at this event, at this course the last time it was played here.
What's his number?
I don't know.
We're gone like really deep, but I guess there's no middle range. But we forgot I really want an opportunity to say that I'm probably going to bet Paul Casey this week.
Cursed.
When?
He put it in our group chat. Tim picked him. Paul Casey. That's a bummer, right? Although,
I would have taken the chance.
In fairness,
35 to 1. I don't care about the injury. I'd have taken a chance. Hard course, outright market. I might still be in.
Tim is crushing us in one and done, by the way. He's on a run right now of he had Lowry at the Heritage. He had Aaron Wise last week, DJ at the Masters, and he's like lapping us right now. Well, I'm taking Jabroni's like Wyndham Clark. So, no, sorry, he had Cantlay. I had Lowry at the Heritage. He had Cantlay. So, yeah, it's been going really well for old Cust in the one and done. He's up on both of us right now.
Yeah, I'll probably take Casey. In this field, like, it's embarrassing the numbers I probably bet Casey to win the Players that I'm going to bet him. I've heard there's 40s out there.
Well, here are some of the guys in the mid-range. So you got Merritt at 35 along with Woodland and Answer and Paul Casey and Sergio Reed. Killa Keith and Seb Straka are all 40 to 1. You got like Cooch, Day, Vegas, Glover, Harmon. Harmon 65. I can get down with the Harmon 65. I don't know what to do with this Webb number. He's 60 to 1. Theoretically, this should be a good course for him. I have no idea where he's at. I like Streelman. Streelman's 80. I think we'll get a better number than that. Glover's at 80. He's another type of guy I really like. And when I ran like the shorter course type stuff, Cameron Davis kept popping out. Obviously, he did it at the Heritage, puts better on bent grass than anywhere else, won the Rocket Mortgage on bent last year, so he could be someone a bit sneakier. I worry that he's going to hit it at a bounds 800 times, but, I did that with Trainer last week, and he only put it at a bounds 3 times in the third round off the tee, and he just shrinks that to 2. I win my bet, so sometimes you got to get lucky.
I'm like trying to fly a plane. I can't see anything.
You can log on to DraftKingsSportsbook.com and look at it.
But I can't touch it.
It'll be okay.
The first day of hockey playoffs, and these books forget anything exists in our country, Pat.
It's kept you off your phone the entire time, which is like new and improved.
No, I'm refreshing it 8 gazillion times.
It'll be okay. But listen, you're not going to miss any numbers at this rate.
I know, and I don't even like the first ones because I want the enhanced offerings. I like everything to show up. So it's not even like I want to bet it, but I want to. It's like I don't even want to have a drink, but I just like knowing if I want one, there's like it's available in the house, as opposed to like if it wasn't available, I didn't have it. I'd be like, I need to get some. I don't know. I just want to know it's available.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, Jeff.
Exactly. And we still don't have shit.
It'll be okay. Remember we used to have to wait till Tuesday to get these odds?
but I wasn't even looking until Tuesday. That was a time when I didn't even start my golf week until Tuesday night. The concept of spending 3 days talking and looking at golf, I like scoffed at you the first time you brought that up.
Yeah, I used to do the DraftKings show on Monday, and we used to do this show on Tuesday, I believe is how it started. Our picks were better when we did the show on Tuesday, by the way.
Well, yeah, because as I've kind of often made the joke, the golf week is, it's 3 days in preparation. But how many times, Pat, have you had a feeling on Sunday night that you can't wait to like bet that football game next week? You look at next week's matchups, you see the spread. Oh, that's law. And then like even Monday, that's the game you like. But by the time we record the show later in the week, or you do that end of week content, you're like, I don't really like that game. Like same spread. I don't really like that game.
You get more information. You read more into it. Plus, you see who everyone else is on. You're like, well, that guy's not going to win because everyone's on him. That's going to happen with Corey Connors this week. Everyone's going to bet Corey Connors. He's going to come in dead fucking last. Happens.
Well, that happens here a lot because we record the show super early on Monday. We make say things that I don't know. By the time we've done the show, there have been 70 tweets about everyone liking that guy. I mean, not surprised to hear it, but it's like, I don't like that guy anymore. Everyone likes that guy. Not to say you want to like who I like, certainly not recently, but I think you all get my drift. It's all about just being in a good, safe space, getting that golf board. And I think I am, but my actions would probably say this guy's crazy.
For long,
Custies, May 9th.
Yeah, find out. You tried to ruin it on last week's football show. Oh, the day I get back from France is the schedule release show. Or not the schedule release show. The NFL schedule will be released. We usually do a live show and react real time. I don't know if I'm going to be up for that.
Yeah. I'll be ready to go.
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe
Should ready to go. I like that Tim's slow roll on the Jets lasted like 3 weeks. The winter, the early spring, late winter of 2022.
Well, listen, Tim's got a lot of problems. He was complaining to me through text this morning about how he was eating really healthy because he was eating hamburger helper. And then we had to break it to him. That's not healthy food. Well, who would think that's healthy? Besides Tim.
He was making a comment to me as a certain fast food joint in Canada is debuting a brand new menu today, breakfast menu.
Oh, yeah, the Wendy's breakfast bacon eater, which you couldn't believe was unhealthy for you. Oh, boy. You know who?
Why isn't Kevin Kisner playing?
I don't know. Going to the Bunny Ranch next week.
Speaking of Kisner, Pat, he sort of replied, never mind.
Is it bad?
No, but just
is this one of these things where you say something and then people think that I'm also saying it? Now I have to watch out.
No, what I guess what I'll say is Kisner replied to a no laying up tweet, and then no laying up deleted their tweet because Solly, who runs the account, got embarrassed. You know what it's like? Imagine if for whatever reason, somehow, some way, Tim was like a co-investor in Mayo Media, and Tim had full access. Like Tim didn't have Tim Anderson at 87 Twitter. Tim's Twitter was the Mayo Media account. And all of Tim's tweets would come out of the Mayo Media account.
I feel
that's essentially what no laying up is with Solly.
Yeah, but I think that we'd have more followers at Mayo Media Net on Twitter if it was Tim just exclusively running it. Because people would see like, there's a media network that talks like this? Well, I got to go check this out. That might actually be a great marketing strategy. Tim take over Twitter for the account.
Worked for them.
Yeah.
I guess it worked for them because the other guys there, Tron and Big Randy, they're great. They're great.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the Custies, but this comes up on the Custies, and you're a lot more heated about it.
It was just, just the irony. It's all coming together. That's all.
Okay. Long shots for the week. I mentioned Cam Davis. I'm going to have to work through. I don't know if I'm going to end up with money on him, but he's at 100-1. This 100-1 range is actually quite intriguing. You have your boy Bo Hostler and Lahiri. They're both right there as well. Lipsky had himself a week last week, and he kind of does what I like to see here. I don't know if I'm going to get to Lipsky. I mean, actually, he's really bad off the tee, but he does gain a lot of fairways, so that kind of crosses him off because he's so bad off the tee. All right, so now I'm working through the list a little bit here. Steele Neesmith rates out number 2 in my number power rankings this week, but Steele rates out really well too. And then you have Molinari sitting here at 100-1. Obviously, he's not peak Molinari, who won this tournament by 8 strokes the last time he played it, but he still does some of those things, doesn't he?
Yeah, so Molinari is someone who I was looking at only in the sense that, Pat, it feels like this newer Molinari. This post world, champion golfer of the year, probably making a fortune on and off the course, getting himself to a new level, moving to California, big steps back on the golf course, Molinari, in this fight for him to refine himself. My perception is he seems to play well at the courses he plays well at. Now, I know that's like an obvious statement, but even through sometimes not playing great or being in great form, the courses that he likes and that have been kind to him still remain that way. So that's why I don't mind. I was looking at that Molinari shout out. I don't know that I'll be there in the outright. Maybe there are other things I'll be doing with Molinari this week, but certainly intrigued.
Martin Laird rates out amazingly. He's 130 to 1. He's someone who gains off the tee and hits a bunch of fairways. Your boy, Russell Knox. This is probably actually the week to bet Russell Knox, by the way. If you were, I'm not going to do it, but like you wanted a course for Russell Knox, this is it.
Okay.
Who else? Smotherman, although he rates out great every week. Neesmith, like I mentioned. Neesmith is like amazing in terms of the numbers right now. He's 100 to 1. I don't love that number. Why is Luke List 130 to 1?
Yeah, that's just disrespectful.
Can he hit enough fairways? Because if he can hit enough fairways, putting, like, bad putters win. I mean, Molinari's not a good putter. He won. Kyle Stanley's like objectively the worst putter of the past 10 years. He won here. List, these are really small greens, so if he misses the green, his chipping has been fantastic. Maybe he could win here.
I mean, as we've sort of dissected with List, harder courses are his best results. Honda, a playoff loss to JT, Torrey Pines, a major championship venue. I don't know. His best results seemingly come at hard tracks. So 130 to 1 on Luke List, let alone the disrespect of the names he's beside. I think this actually suits him better than people are blindly perceiving based on that.
Additionally, Siwoo Kim might also win if it's not Corey Connors. I'm betting Siwoo at whatever stupid number he's at this week. Because this is I mean, I know it's not a short Bermuda course. It's a short bent course, but I feel like this is a pretty good track for him as well. For a guy who's hitting as many.
Where is he?
He's 45 to 1, I believe.
Okay.
It is weird not being able to place these wagers as of yet. Because, like, we're going to go through our quick picks. And I'm like, I have no picks officially in because I can't bet them yet. I don't have access to any of these markets. It's weird. Is there anyone else down the list you want to talk about? Because I can give you, the numbers. In terms of overall numbers of the past 24 rounds that I ran, Henley, Neesmith, Cam Young, Homa are the top four. Connors, Keegan, Laird, Smotherman, Woodland, Siwoo, Brian Harmon, Cam Percy, CT Pan, and your boy, Paul Casey. Then it's Knox, then List, then Gim.
I guess just looking at these numbers, is there any recency bias to some nice weeks for like Woo 250, Smalley 130, carryover form, Nate Lashley 150, Katayama 150. Sort of, I guess, who of those guys would you be most willing to trust at this course?
None.
Svensson 250.
Svensson makes more sense, I think.
JT Poston 250. The hell?
I mean, Poston actually, I think he rates out pretty well for me because he does, good. Man, he hits a ton of fairways, pretty good off the tee. It's a bit long for him in terms of the second shot because that 175 to 200 bucket he's not very good at. That's where Kadira, Webb Simpson, is this a blind Webb bet number?
I've been so out of sight, out of mind with Webb. I actually think I picked on him recently successfully in some head-to-heads. But what's he been doing? Not much.
No, he was okay. He was okay at Valspar because he ended up making a ton of putts. I don't even know if he made the cut at Heritage, to tell you the God's honest truth. Did he? Yeah, he did. He was 59th at the Heritage. 59th, 35th at the Masters, 48th at Valspar. I mean, he's bleeding strokes on the green. He turned back into pre-good Webb Simpson on the green somehow. So
this is so strange, Pat. If someone is always home, by 6 p.m. every day, they're pretty much home. 6:15 the latest. And now it's midnight and they're not home. I wake up at wake up at 6:30 and these guys have lines.
You seem triggered.
I got to go to physio. I don't want to
Well,
just
well,
be
well,
like
okay, here,
refreshing the whole time.
let me ask you. If you just don't refresh and then you go to your physio and it's 3 hours from now, is anything really going to change?
No, because again, I still wait for the
So what's the
enhanced
difference?
markets.
What's the difference? It's okay. You can like take a morning off from just refreshing your app over and over to see if numbers come out that you don't even want to bet. Now hear me say that, like that sentence, and just be like, absorb that, and then try to live your life like that. Can you do it? You can't, can you?
It's like going to be noon o'clock.
It's okay. You'll live on this one. Hayden Buckley's 300 to 1. I'm going to give him a look. We should probably bring up Kang and Armour. There's a few guys that have just played really well here over the years. Kang, I think, has either 2 top 10s or 2 top 5s in his appearances. Armour was second to Molinari the last time around. Kang's putting has been off the charts good. Even still, I don't know if that can sustain itself and if that can carry him through, but I thought that was somewhat interesting. I don't think it's going to be for me. Do you have interest?
I'm just trying to see what kind of numbers I can get on the good players, like Power, Straka. It's kind of where my head is at, Pat.
Average per round, the best players in the field. I mean, it's either 4 or 8 measured rounds, so take it with a grain of salt. Molinari, obviously. Armour, Kang, Answer, Bo Hostler are your top 5. Ben Martin withdrew. Keegan does have my interest this week. Fowler, Hadley, Leishman, Reed, Lahiri, Steven Yagabombs, Laird, Streelman. Yeah, this Laird, Streelman, Keegan, Connors. That's starting to sound like where I want to go this week, which is just really pathetic sounding. Once I say that out loud, I should listen to myself and be like, that's stupid. That's how you lose money. But hey, I'm going to be away. I don't really care at this point.
Laird, Streelman, Keegan, Connors?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally the type of bets you make when you're going to be out of not paying attention to anything.
Yeah. I'll probably throw Harmon onto that list too. Maybe you can get real lucky, hit a tree and bounce into the hole or something.
I really like Sepp Straka at 40 to 1.
Would you rather bet? Oh, no, I'm going to bet Siwoo as well. Would you rather bet Siwoo or Straka?
Moment Sepp. But there's so few options, I believe, here for me this week. I could bet on both.
There you go. Easy game. Seb Straka, Siwoo Kim, win money.
Sepp, Siwoo. I want to see how the Connors at 22 could be pretty tempting.
I mean, I will say this right now. Connors at 22 is a bad number. I'm betting it regardless.
Yeah, but it can be a good number if someone gives me an NHL playoff winner to parlay it with.
I can't believe you would parlay up a 22 to 1. That's insane.
Oh, that's the beginning. Finau, I'd like to see where that number goes. I'm telling you, I think someone could give me Hatton in the 30s.
That would be somewhat interesting, I think. As someone, I mean, he's a better Linksy style golfer. Can he play these? Like, did he win Wentworth, or was that Willett who won Wentworth?
Willett won Wentworth. Noren won Wentworth. Noren would have maybe been a nice fit this week.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that would be, if you're looking for a course overseas for some of the Euro guys to look at, Wentworth might be the place to consider. Did the odds just pop up for you?
No, I forgot that I also like Casey. Good thing is I haven't bet anyone yet. Casey, Straka. Those are the bets I think I'm most looking forward to making and can confirm I'd make them even at the numbers I'm seeing but aren't available to me.
Kitayama was 14th at the year that Willett won the BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth. So it's not for nothing. Andrew Putnam as well.
150, man.
Yeah, I mean, he just gagged it for me. I don't know. Can he sustain back-to-back weeks? Is he one of those guys? He doesn't feel like
I don't
it.
know, but as someone who he didn't gag it for, I don't think I will feel fresh enough to step in front of his 150 right now.
It's put it this way. It's not the worst number of the week. It's probably one of the better numbers.
Yeah, I bet you that ends up being a strong number once like full market, once you could compare that.
Yeah,
I think.
I can see that as well. Anyway, let's get to the quick picks and one and done for the Wells Fargo Championship. I'm betting Connors, and then I'll probably end up going Streelman and Laird for sure, Siwoo for sure, and then like Herman, Keegan, depending on what the Keegan number is. I'm not betting at the 28, but if I can find like a 40 on Keegan, I'll probably do that. And then Hayden Buckley is like a bomb down the list is where I'm going to go. So who were you thinking again? Finau, Casey, Straka, that range?
Yeah. The top, I got to see like the full market develop on the numbers, and maybe the best number wins my bet between a Finau, a Hatton. It's crazy to see Seamus Power down there with them, but that's where he is. I do think he suits it perfectly. But once I do have access, hopefully by the time you're watching or listening to this, I will have already made a wager on Paul Casey, which I've heard is out there at 40-1, and Sepp Straka. And let's make Sepp my one and done.
Straka is going to be your one and done. Okay. Paul Casey is Cuss one and done. Corey Connors is my one and done. The one guy that we didn't bring up.
Shoot, Lowry's not playing. I can't use Straka. I'm joking. Sepp Straka.
Answer stats-wise seemed like he was better in Mexico. Guy couldn't chip to save his life. Like, he was a disaster around the greens, but he gained off the tee. He gained with his approaches. He gained on putting. Should we be giving him more consideration here, or do we wait till he's like fully back? Because this could be an opportunity. Like, he has one of the better numbers for who he is this week.
Okay. Thank you. I like you a lot. Should I be totally jigging, like, why am I Casey over Answer? I haven't seen Casey played. I just saw Answer play not fantastic, but as you just mentioned, ticking in the right direction in a home event that probably had its own handful of shit that he had to deal with on a daily basis. So I guess, yeah, from a health perspective, I'd be silly to trust Casey more than Answer today, right?
Abraham Answer lost 7.2 strokes around the green in Mexico. It's a lot.
Casey told us he was fine 2 days before the Masters.
I think I might end up. Answer had a poor final round with his irons. He lost 2.4 strokes, but he still gained for the week overall. Gained over 3 with his approaches. And what is he at here in terms of driving accuracy? 75% driving accuracy. They were huge fairways, and there was no real penalty unless you were in the water, like Kitayama on 10 every single fucking day. But he was able to manage bogey both those times, so I really can't fault him for that.
Great bogey.
I think I'm going to have to reevaluate and think about Answer, because that 35 number I think is a strong number. Like, that's probably the best value number on the board of the top guys. I mean, it's not even that great a value, but he's the same number as Troy fucking Merritt, so why not?
Yeah, and if it's a course fit, and
it is. I
just say thank you, because I am quite like, why would I be bullish on Casey but not Answer? And it's the same number.
All right, so Answer might end up going on the card. All right, cool. I'll probably release.
And I have to trust Answer's healthier. Well, he just played like he's. If Answer's not healthy with the PGA in 2 weeks, he's withdrawing.
I think he's healthy enough. He just played, and he played pretty well.
No, but you can maybe make a case he force played Mexico. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just trying to talk. My brain is just spinning.
So you're trying to make up stuff to tell you that it's okay?
Yeah. I'm just talking myself through it. And I think as we've kind of ended this thing, I think you might have made me think I need to like Answer more than Casey. And he's Ander cursed.
Casey's Andercursed, which means he's probably going to withdraw after one shot anyway. Maybe he thinks this is a WGC and then he'll get paid either way. I don't know. But the more I kind of think about it, the more I like Answer. Obviously, I like Connors, and I think that Answer is, at his best, Answer is a better Connors because he can sometimes putt. In fact, Bent is by far his best putting surface, and we're out of the Bermuda swing now. We're back on Bent. If he's actually healthy, now could be the time to jump on him. But skill set-wise, gain off the tee, hit a ton of fairways, good with the irons. Hopefully you can figure this out. So yeah, I'm thinking about, now that I've talked myself into it, I might actually bet the Mexican Allen Iverson, Abraham Ansay. Or Answer, sorry, he's not French, so it would be Abraham Answer, not Ansay. I'm getting myself ready for this trip, Jeff. Break out my accent, eh?
Oh yeah, you're gonna get the extra harsh cigs, right? Like they don't sell light cigs out there, I assume.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't smoke cigarettes.
I just bought my packs to go, but I will be trying.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I will be
proactive.
Oh yeah, gotta be. Listen, I'm not going to France and not smoking. What are we doing here? Yeah. I assume you can smoke everywhere, which is probably not the case, but
Tim will tell you that croissants you're going to be having in 2 days taste the same at Le Tim Hortons.
It's true. All right. Well, you have a good time. I'll see you on the Custies next Monday, as everyone else will, to see if you're the craziest person alive.
Yeah.
And
there's that.
So thank you all for voting in the Custies. I got some fun shows coming out, though. I got Challenge Fantasy. That comes out later this week with Adam Rank and Rob McIntyre. I'll have Tambo in the studio to do the DraftKings picks tomorrow. I think we're doing a strategy like how to be better at DraftKings. I'm just going to ask him questions because he's way better at DraftKings than I am. Although I just had a really good week on DraftKings, so that's good news. And then I have the Will Haskett interview, Brandon Gadula about putting stats and research. That's coming out. The Custies are coming out. Then I'll be back, so everything will be fine. Got tons of shows for people.
Excited. Let's do it. Have a great trip, man. You earned it.
Thank you very much. I'll probably release my cheat sheet on Twitter this week. Probably won't send out an email because it'll be Wednesday and I won't care anymore. So just have to live with that. Hey, probably more profitable for people. They will not be losing money by tailing my picks. Although you slightly won last week if you followed the cheat sheet to the T. Very marginally, but hey, break-even weeks are fine from time to time. It's not losing every single time. Anyway, smash the like button in the Listeners League, sub to the channel, rate and review. Have yourselves a time. I will see you in 2 weeks, live once again. Until then, have some fun. Hit some winners, okay?
Mayo experience! Experience!